Macy Good Books. I'm Macy Good. And today we have a ton of books to go through today. And we're doing another book haul of 13 books that I have read, and they're right behind me. So we're going to be starting to top to bottom. The first book is Everyday Bible Memory Devotion for Women. 25 Days in God's Word. This book actually was honestly a really good devotion book to read. It was that good that, of course, a 5-star rating, of course. This book is about being on the right journey and the right path with the Lord. Because it goes deep down in your path with the Lord, and to get to know the Lord way more better. So if you guys are looking for a good devotion book, this one will be a really good one for you guys. Because it goes deep down. That says inside your soul. But deep down of the power of the Lord. And this is a great book. Seriously, I want to say I actually do recommend. The next book is Overcomer by Furby. It's about the girl's name, but this book is about this girl who had different kind of trials. There was steamy stuff, iPods, music headsets, and other stuff like that, getting herself, in trouble. And her getting herself in trouble. But the coach, Harrison, was actually, so she, as a school, she was in the track team, but they had to get out of there for some kind of reason. I forgot what the reason was, but she ended up winning the whole thing. But her grandma, Brenda, didn't really want her to be in track or whatever kind of thing. She met her father at the hospital. One part of this book I thought it was going to be quite interesting was, at the end, she honestly goes to college and just being it's just a wonderful student in that. But this book was on top of my list to read, and I'm glad I read this book because it was so different. In the cafeteria, there's this Down syndrome boy who became her friend, her only friend. But she was kind of a mean towards the kid, but because of the fight or whatever kind of thing. But that doesn't change her attitude. But she had to take the stuff back what she stole. Her grandmother actually made her. But honestly, I have to say on that is she shouldn't be stealing that stuff because she didn't even know better. So this book was like a track and field kind of book. And part of it was kind of like, wow, big surprise. So that's what this book was honestly about. I've seen this movie great movie. Overcomer is a great movie. And it was just so different in a way. It was like a really good read. So this one was a 5-star rating. So now our next book is actually by my favorite book author of course, Nicholas Sparks' The Guardian. This was actually a twist. There was a twist in this book. Kind of like a love story kind of thing. Love story makes into a crime. So this book was about this girl named Julie. Her husband died of cancer. And his friend, I think John was his name. Yeah, John. He was a good friend of Julie. Because she has a dog named Signer, of course. A great little German Shepherd. So this is a story, but it cannot turn to three different ways. She was dating this guy who she didn't know who was on this list, stalker kind of thing. And he actually changed his identity to be somebody else who this guy actually was not. The other part of the storyline was the crime kind of thing. And he did find her in the woods. He kind of pushed her around, bullied her, kept calling. She hung down on him. And he was kind of like stalking her, like watching her through a tree. And that. But ending up, this guy bought a house. And Andrew Gawley was the police officer who kept Julie Signer safe. She was dating this different guy. And she didn't know how much she loved this guy so much. She ended up dating her husband's friend. Actually, I thought that part was honestly really, really cool because it was so intensely crazy, but a good storyline. Then there's this part when they were in the bar. The stalker was there, of course, and the new guy, and they ended up doing a fist fight. And I thought of that kind of rude because it was, and then they ended up getting hurt because there was drinking alcohol and all that kind of thing. Then there's Julie had her own job by being a hairdresser, like cutting hair and stuff like that. Her coworker, who's actually her friend, she got murdered by the same guy. And it was like he couldn't find the guy, and he tried to find more information on Julie. But he changed his name and identity, pretending, like I said, to be somebody else who he actually wasn't. In the end of the book was kind of like the guy found her. He had a gun, but he shot him multiple times. The police officer and all that, he tried. But her friend's cabin she went to, just to stay out with her boyfriend and her dog, Signer. Then they were having a thrill of a time. Because they were having so much fun. Playing games. He was doing a barbecue. And this book was, like I said, a 5-star read because this was a great book. But in the storyline, she ended up staying alive. So did the police officer, and so did the guy she was dating. They had to take Signer to the veterinarian, and they couldn't find her until they found a pet hospital. But Signer was fine at the end of the book, and they both lived happily ever after. So this book was honestly a great book to read. And a great Nicholas Sparks novel if you're into those stories in there. Romance novels. This is the kind of book you should read because it has so many different twists into it. The next book is actually my favorite YouTubers. You know the Branch family. They're the best YouTube family ever. This one is Called a Sad Out of Support a Love Story. This was about Savannah's past. It was Savannah's past. It was about Savannah growing up, not getting too close to the Lord, but she wound up getting back with closer to the Lord. We had this guy named Cole at the Grove. His name is Cole. He was playing with Ava and Everly. And Everly thought that was really, really nice of Cole to play with him. To play with her and her best friend, Ava. Because if you guys know All in the Furby family, they're a great family YouTube channel also. And yeah, this book was honestly one of my favorites to read. This was my very first book I read when I first started this channel. This book was and Savannah started going out with Cole, like dating a boyfriend girlfriend, and they tried to make it as long distance as possible, but it didn't even work. And it didn't work out. So he moved out to California to be with her. They got engaged, they got married, and then in the midst of everything, they started a YouTube channel called Couldn't Say Out. Then it turned into the Branch family. In this book, it was the wedding day, and Savannah's dress was so beautiful. It was everything she ever dreamed of. And I'll say this book was a 5-star rated. So this book is a great book to read. If you want to get something like this, of course, it's actually good. And I got this at Boston almost right on my birthday one year. This is a book I did want. And the book was amazing. I love this storyline. It was like somebody said, but this book was absolutely amazing. Good 5-star rating book to read. Even for book YouTubers, even booktube. This next book is Jesus Coming by Sarah Young. If you don't know what path you should be on, well, this book can get you on the right path with the Lord, and the Lord knows what's in your heart. This book was about, it had a nighttime, it was just a nighttime. It was such a great book because it was just so uplifting. The Lord loves when you read books like devotions like Jesus Coming. The Lord loves when you read devotions because He can connect with you with all different ways. And help you along your path and journey.
What I'll do is I'll pull the blinds up so they can jump up there, and I'll leave the little table of the little shelf.
Don't worry about that. This is my mom being another guest star. You guys. This next book is by Jennifer Dorini. It's called it's Disney's Beauty and the Beast Lost Name book. This book was about Belle falling into a book, but she had different obstacles in between. Chip's birthday, and all that fun kind of thing. Belle fell in love with the Beast, and they actually loved. The part I absolutely loved the most of this book, it was so beautiful when the Beast showed her the big library. Rows and rows and rows of bookshelves with all different kinds of books. But one book stood out to Belle, and she put into a Paris London scene with her father, and she managed different people in the way of it. She came back for her Chip's birthday party. Mrs. Potts was filming for her little son, who actually was a teacup, had a chip on the top of it. And this was a 5-star rating, great book. And part of it was a little hard to get into, but I got into it pretty much, and I'm sure you guys read this book. It's absolutely a great book to read. The end of this book was, oh my word, she was in a maze towards the end, trying to get out of the book. But she got it through. She got out of the book quick enough before the book ended. And it was just amazing. And she did clean the Beast's castle. Actually, I do find that really cool because I love cleaning. So that's what this one was honestly about. And 5-star rating. 5-star rating book. Great book to read if you love Disney. This next book is another devotions. The 1-year devotions for girls. This book was honestly good. It has day-by-day devotions. It has a little thing, how about you? It had mini stories inside. And a little bit about you, I memorize first. And then just, they give you a little part, you can look at the Bible verse and read it, right from your Bible. My word, when I read this book, I loved it so much, like I wanted to give a second one. But I don't have a second one yet, but I will ask for the second one of this. Because this book was amazing. You can learn so many different things, like through your own path. The Lord does continue to you. The Lord is usually right here in your heart. And you can learn many lessons in this book because this was so good. Another 5-star rating. Yay! We love 5-star ratings. The next book is Another Devotion, Another Little God Time. This one had a daytime and nighttime devotion. And this book was absolutely great. It helped you find more of the Lord. But it actually helped you to stay on your path and journey with the Lord, so He can guide you through it. This devotion was constantly, I love this. 5 stars, of course. This was a great, great book. And I just love this book because it had just good meaning into it when you read it. Like, oh my word, it's that good. You should try to get this book through the Big Wizard bookstore. They have other books there too. And really, as I did point out, this book is honestly really good for all you Christians out there. So this book I honestly recommend. Another 5-star rating. That's right. This next book is The Unwanted Items of the Graves by Lisa McMillan. This book was by a group of kids. They went to magic school. This kid named Aaron, he had two brothers who were part of the Unwanteds. And one that staff there, Mr. Today, was like, "Hi class, how are you guys doing today?" They did great. They had a drama department. They had ours that singing. There was some other people in this, and this was a great read, another 5-star rating. And the end of the storyline was honestly, they found their way out. And it was just a great book. 5-star rating. Great book to read, and I highly do recommend. This next book is another Nicholas Sparks novel, and this one is called The Wisp by Nicholas Sparks. This is about a book about, I think, Maggie. Yeah, about this girl named Maggie. She lived in Seattle with her mom and dad and sister, but she didn't really get along with her sister at all. But this book is actually one of my favorites. I absolutely love this book because it was so intense, that good. And Maggie, she went to get by her first cousin named Jay, and she had to go move in with her aunt, Linda, and she met this guy named, I forget his name. I forget his name, but she fell in love with this friend of hers, who she met. She had Christmas with her aunt and the other guy. And she went on Christmas with the next year with her boyfriend's parents and him. And they had so much fun. And the guy's mom was in a wheelchair, couldn't move around too much. And he had two brothers that were little brats, but nothing too bad. He went out and had to sell his dog, and he got into the military school. They didn't know that he passed away, and she kept telling me this Christmas story all throughout the book about her journey in Okoke, Virginia. Now, Okoke, I would give that state, but it was, honestly, the ending was quite sad because she was battling cancer. She had her own YouTube channel and stuff. And this book she ended up passing away. And the ending was quite sad because her son, she had a son, but she had to give it up for adoption. Because she didn't really have a choice, because she was a teen mom, pretty much. So this was that book was about, and this was a great book to read. 5-star rating, and I highly recommend. This next book is another Nicholas Sparks book, and this one's called Dreamland. This book was about this guy named Kobe. He was a cowboy. He worked at his aunt's farm. And he went to Florida to meet this girl named Morgan. And they hanged out about him, and her and her husband were big TikTokers. And this big TikTokers. They hang out a lot. Morgan hang out with Kobe and a lot. They hang out quite a lot, and they fell in love. They were boyfriend and girlfriend, but they broke up because of life changing stuff. To became a singer. He loves his sunlight, and when your romance novel, this one was a great romance novel. This part of Beverly and her son lived in this like old ragged house and tried to fix it up. But this was a great all-time book. The end actually made more sense. His aunt had to go to the hospital because she had some kind of attack. I don't want to say it was a heart attack, that's what his mom died from. But Kobe and his sister drug overdose. That sign. She went up in the hospital and she got stable. And they both, Kobe helped taking care of both. And the end was pretty much that, I believe. I just want to take you. That was pretty much what this book was honestly about, and this was a great, great novel. 5-star rating. This next one is by Stephen King, The Mess. This book was about a family that the mist came from the lake, and there was this sea creature of an octopus or something. Not sure honestly what it was. The storyline to this was intense, but it was scary at the same time. This book was honestly a great book. I love this book because it was such a great book. 5-star rating. There was some kind of octopus who was eating people. And the kid named Billy was going towards the wiring in there, and his mom kind of stopped him, saying, "Don't go near the wiring," because there was power lines and stuff that, a tree fall down and stuff like that. The houseboat kind of got crunched into by the mist, and it was part of the Arrowhead Project. Billy and his dad went to this grocery store to get some groceries, but they ended up staying, and more people got eaten up by this octopus sea creature monster thing. Whatever it was grabbing people. There was like blood everywhere. But the dad went to this pharmacy to get other supplies. They went inside a car. They went inside the car to get away. The military guys were coming to get that creature octopus out of the way so people can start getting out. But they couldn't. And a group of people even believing in his dad finally got away, and that's what this book was about. Another 5-star read. This next book is by Kate Quinn. It's called The Diamond Eye. This was a World War II novel. It was about this girl named Millie. She had a son, but she had to keep him where they were living, of course. And part of it kind of took place in Germany. She had to go to the United States of America, Washington, D.C., to meet the Roosevelts. Teddy Roosevelt and the First Lady at the time, his wife, Mrs. Roosevelt, she was learning how to to shoot a rifle gun. This book didn't seem to fits really good in the YA because there was more adult content. This was pretty much in really Pico had a nickname of Lady Death. She got a nickname from one of her husbands. She had like over 4 to 7 husbands in this novel. But she ended up, she was a bad news. She was killing people. Bad lady, that's why they call her Lady Death. Lady Death. And Mrs. Roosevelt took her for some kind of conference kind of thing. And they were like having breakfast at the White House, sleeping at the White House, and different rooms of the White House. And of course, Millie had to go to the hospital kind of thing. But back then, they had different kind of hospitals because she got shot in the shoulder and other places too, in her eye. But honestly, this was pretty much a World War II book because it was talking about real life events. What they did happen years ago. And she went to surprise her aunt to see her, and her mom and dad were there. So that was pretty kind of neat part of the book. And part of the book, they were doing some kind of, I don't think a war project, they were, but it was more like based on the World War II kind of content. And just, let's just say this was a 2-star read, not 5-star, because this book wasn't all that good because it had a lot of swear words, all the adult content, not good for young adults at all. This book was heated up pretty good, and this book was okay, kind of like getting out of my comfort zone kind of thing. And that's what this book was honestly about. It was about World War II, the Red War, pretty much. And that's what this book was honestly about. Which way can be Diamond Die? One of her husbands gave her this necklace was full of diamonds. And I thought that part was really neat. But this book wasn't my kind of book to read. But like I said, getting on comfort zone is a great way to explore different kinds of books. Even history books like this one, for example. So this book was a little harder to read. I heard the audiobook on some of these, and some of the others I did, like the missing others. So, yeah. Take her to come to basic books. We're not doing what we normally do here. Next vlog, that will be next week. We're going to do double the shoutouts, because this vlog was pretty long. Thank you to come to basic books. It's always fun to have you here. Click down to the red subscribe button down below. And click the notification bell for more fun book reviews, book hauls, and bookstores, book reels, and all different kinds of stuff we have scheduled for Basic Good Books. Thank you to come. And of course, with my book family, my book premieres, like when we get new people, welcome them in. Thanks guys to come to Basic Good Books. You guys are all the best. And I just want to put out one shout out to somebody cool. The Lopez family, you're the best. The Sevex family, you're the best. The Joseph family, you are cool. So that's much for the shoutouts to this. You guys want to do some YouTube. If you guys want to be part of the book channel of the month, comment below. You guys need to check out the other vlogs in there. Take your time to Basic Good Books. Basic Good Books is fun here. Guys are like second family to me. Now do trust that. Give this like a bigger thumbs up and love my second family like crazy. And the Lord loves you too. And peace out. Love our book family.